I will take the name Mexican enemies have given me. The whites will learn it, and you will learn it.
They paid him half. They called his character Fool in Spanish. They made him strip on command. But here's what Hollywood didn't expect. Jay Silverheels was playing a different game entirely. While America watched him play the sidekick on TV, he was building something they couldn't see, something that would outlive every insult, every stereotype, every paycheck that came up short. We're talking about the man who smiled on camera and plotted a revolution backstage. The man who turned a racist role into a Trojan horse. The man who knew that real power isn't about fighting the system. It's about building a better one while nobody's watching. This is Jay Silverheels, and this is the story Hollywood tried to bury. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're uncovering stories that deserve to be told. Let's get into it. Born Harold Smith on the Six Nations Reserve in Ontario, Jay learned early that survival meant adaptation. His father returned from World War I, decorated but broken, living on pennies while his medals collected dust. But young Harold had speed. On the lacrosse field, he moved so fast, his shoes seemed to flash silver, earning him the nickname that would become his identity. That speed took him from poverty to professional sports, from amateur boxing rings to Hollywood stunt work. But speed alone couldn't outrun stereotypes. When he finally landed the role of Tonto in 1949, he became the first Native American to play a native character on television. Historic, yes, but also limiting. The pay was half of his white co-star's salary. The dialogue was broken English, written by people who'd never met a native person. Directors expected him to strip his shirt on command like livestock at auction. He could have walked away bitter. Instead, he asked himself a different question: what comes next? In 1966, while protests raged across America, Jay did something quieter but more lasting. He co-founded the Indian Actors Workshop in Los Angeles. Every week, native actors gathered at the LA Indian Center and a small Methodist church in Echo Park. Jay taught them everything: acting techniques, voice training, stunt coordination, even nutrition. He helped them get Screen Actors Guild cards, the key that unlocked professional doors. He wrote letters to President Eisenhower, Vice President Nixon, and television executives. Not angry demands, but careful arguments for better representation. When activists criticized him, calling Tonto a sellout symbol, Jay didn't argue back. He understood their pain because he felt it too. But he believed change required strategy, not just rage. He once said boycotts wouldn't work the same way for Native Americans as they did for African Americans, because the numbers were different, the leverage was different. So he focused on what he could control: preparation. His student Michael Horse later played Tonto in the 1981 film and became known for Twin Peaks. Others went on to reshape how native stories were told. Jay wasn't building a movement, he was building a foundation. In 1975, stroke stole his voice just when better roles were finally arriving. By 1976, another stroke left him partially paralyzed. On July 17, 1979, he received his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He sat in a wheelchair, surrounded by native dancers, barely able to mumble thank you. 8 months later, he was gone. But here's what matters: his workshop didn't die with him. The dormant creativity he talked about unlocking, it exploded. Graham Greene earned an Oscar nomination. Smoke Signals became the first feature film written, directed, and produced entirely by Native Americans. Every indigenous actor who demands complex roles, who refuses broken English, who insists on dignity, stands on the foundation Jay built. He knew something profound: you can't tear down walls if you're standing outside screaming at them. Sometimes you have to get inside, learn the blueprints, and rebuild room by room. Jay Silverheels played a character whose name meant fool in Spanish. He delivered lines that made him cringe. He smiled through humiliation because he understood the long game. But when the cameras turned off, he became a teacher, a mentor, a bridge builder. His real legacy isn't Tonto. It's every native actor who followed him through doors he quietly unlocked. Sometimes revolution doesn't announce itself with thunder. Sometimes it starts in a small classroom in Echo Park, with one man refusing to let his pain be the end of the story. Jay Silverheels didn't just survive Hollywood, he changed it, one student at a time. End screen. The Indian Actors Workshop trained over 200 native performers between 1966 and 1980. Many went on to reshape Hollywood's portrayal of indigenous peoples.